All right, so I wanted to give two testimonies of God speaking through little kids and the influence that we have as parents. All right, and I wanted to read a couple verses before I get into it. Okay, so Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Matthew 19:14, Jesus said, "Let the little children come to me and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these." So it is so important that we are setting the Christ-like example, to our kids and really talking to them about Jesus. I used to work in children's ministry until COVID messed all that up, and just the things I've experienced. I worked with all age groups, but when I did Sunday school, I worked with mostly 3-year-olds and taught in the class. And I had this one parent come in, and she was so just happy because her 3-year-old was telling her about how Jesus, lives inside their heart and just different things like that. So that's what I'm talking about, like just the little things, like they are really listening. All right. And so the first testimony I want to give is about what happened this week. So of course I'm working with children again, and I work at a summer camp. All right. And so I was outside on the playground, and there was these two little boys. One was about 6 and the other one was 5. And the older one, I heard him say, "Do you know who Jesus is?" And the little boy's like, "No, who's Jesus?" And this little boy, the excitement, he was just explaining. He's like, "Well, Jesus is," and he just started going in, talking to him into detail about who Jesus is. And then I heard him talking about how Jesus took the power from the devil, and how he, died and he rose and he was in the tomb. And then he was talking to the little boy about how he goes to church, and he's like, "Do you go to church? Do you want to go to church? Because you could, or I could tell my mom, and she could tell your mom, so we can go to church together, and yeah, and we'll have so much fun." And it was just the cutest thing. I almost cried because I was just like, oh my gosh. And I just let them do their thing and just let that older boy minister to that little boy, because obviously he's not being brought up in a Christian type home. So that's why he doesn't know who Jesus is. So this little boy, God is using him to go ahead and plant these seeds, And so that is an example of why we should be, raising our kids starting at a young age, and that was God right there. And today when his mom picked up, I told her how, I was listening to their conversation and how God was using her son. And I said, God is going to use him in mighty ways, as he gets older. I mean, he's already using him right now. And she was just so happy and amazed. And she did say that he's the leader of the group of their family. He's always leading people into those conversations about Jesus and stuff. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, that is so amazing. I could just see it. It's so obvious that God has a calling already on this little boy's life. And anyway, I just thought that was really awesome. Okay, and so the second testimony is about my son. My son's 6, and so last month, at the beginning of the month, I was going through some new changes that God was bringing me in, and of course it didn't make sense, because usually things don't make sense when God is behind things most oftentimes. And I was in my computer workout room, which is what I'm in right now, and my son was in the kitchen. I think he was eating, and all of a sudden I hear him singing a song. It was a song that he made up, and he was saying how God takes care of me and my mom. God takes care of me and my mom. And then he was saying, God loves me and my mom. And I was so like blown away and amazed actually hearing my child say something like that. And that was God speaking through my child directly to me. Oh my gosh, I needed the encouragement, and it was so unexpected, but God is so amazing. And that's not it, because what I mean by that is that's not all that happened, because we went to the grocery store that day and I was shopping, and my son just out of nowhere was like, Mom, God told me to be nice to you and to love you. And I was just about speechless, because not only did I hear him, singing that song that I just said about how God provides for me and him, but then we go to the store and he's saying that God told him and God was telling him how to treat me. Like, wow. Because my child is ADHD. He's on medicine. He's very difficult at times, and he has not been treating me the best. I'm a single mom, and he's been really difficult. And just to hear the Lord actually correcting my own child, I'm like, I didn't even know that God did that to children that young, that he would actually step in, because yes, God is my father, he's my husband, he's my everything, my provider, and just for the Lord to like step in and correct my child and then speak words of encouragement through him. I'm just like, wow, that is really powerful and really amazing. So, I just wanted to share that. Children are so precious, and so humble, so trusting. But yeah, all right, that's it.